912 cans a year. I'm gonna drink this. I had the shakes all day. First time in 4 years, honestly. My hand was like absolutely like that all over the place. I used to be absolutely addicted to this stuff. No one needed Pepsi Max in 1876. I was addicted to Pepsi Max for years. And I mean addicted. I can remember the day that I actually stopped drinking this, and I can remember the day after even more, because I experienced some pretty severe withdrawal symptoms. You might be thinking, why on earth would you want to stop drinking this lovely, tasty, juicy drink? I have my reasons, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And at the end of the video, I am, for the first time in 4 years, going to drink this. I used to think that this tasted absolutely amazing, but now I'm not so sure, but we'll see how it goes. This video is not sponsored by Pepsi Max. It kind of looks like it is, but it's not. I don't think Pepsi would want to sponsor this kind of video. It wasn't just me that had this problem with Pepsi Max. Laura had it as well. We shared our little addiction together. And every week in our shopping, we'd buy multi-packs of cans. We used to buy bottles, but then we started buying cans instead because we found that we preferred it ultra fizzy. And you only get it ultra fizzy when you open that can and drink from it, because as soon as you start opening a bottle, you're kind of rushing to get it gone. Otherwise, it just starts to lose its fizz. I'd have 2 or 3 of these a day, and so would Laura. So every day we'd be consuming about 4 to 6 of these cans. And it might not seem much, but over the course of a year, 10 years, it adds up to quite a lot. It also adds up to quite a lot of money, which I'm going to work out now. So if I ate, call it 2.5 cans a day times 365, 365 times 2.5 cans. Whoa. So if I did 2.5 cans a day, I probably did more than that, to be honest, but we'll go with 2.5 because it's lower than 3. And, you know, I definitely didn't have 3 a day, but I probably had 3 a day more often than 2 a day. 2.5 a day times 260 was 912 cans, and there was 2 of us. So we were basically, 1,825 cans of Pepsi Max. If I was drinking 912 cans of these per year, 912 times 330, 301,000 millilitres. What? That can't be right. 301,000 millilitres. What's that? Is there 1,000? How many millilitres in a gallon? Oh, apparently there's US gallons and there's UK gallons as well. I was drinking 79.5 gallons of Pepsi Max per year. Okay? 79.5 gallons. Where am I going with this? I don't know. But the point is, I drank a lot of the stuff. And there's probably people out there who are drinking more of this that don't really care because they think it tastes great. But I used to think it was absolutely amazing. But having gone on this journey, this was one of those things that I started eating healthy food way before I could stop drinking this. And I found it very difficult to have water in general. Every meal I'd either have Pepsi Max, or I'd have a glass of orange squash, or I'd have some coffee. And drinking water just didn't factor into my life. In fact, I don't think I had a glass of water for about 20 years on its own. It just always had something in it. And I think this was partly responsible because it's full of sweeteners and stuff that make you just want to have that. It's marketed as 0 calorie. It says 0 calories right there. 0 fat, 0 saturated fat, 0 sugars, 0 salt. 1 calorie. Come on, it's the healthiest thing on the planet, surely. It's probably healthier than normal water, right? Apparently not. And I'll tell you why. When I opened one of these cans and I took a sip from it, I can remember that feeling. It was like someone had activated my brain. It was an absolute rush of like stimulation, and it reminds me a bit of, there's a film, isn't there, where someone takes something and their eyes dilate, pupils dilate, and suddenly they're able to function in life and achieve more. But this made me feel like I was on top of the world, like I could achieve anything, like I could walk on the air. However, it was just a temporary effect, and there was always a come down and a craving for more. 912 cans a year each. So hang on a minute. How much does this stuff cost? Oh, I haven't bought it for 4 years. How much does it cost right now? Pepsi Max cans. Sainsbury's. 24 cans, £12. 50p a can. I'm spending £456 a year just on this. And for me and Laura together, 912 quid. I think if you went up to some random people in the street who were drinking Pepsi Max and said, would you rather have that Pepsi Max or two every day or have an extra £1,000 a year? I'd have chosen the Pepsi Max. Obviously now I choose the money. But these things add up and no one needs this. It's not required for human consumption. I don't think this came into the UK until like the late 90s. Maybe I'm wrong. But before that, my childhood from about the ages of 6 or 7 was dominated by Diet Cola. We didn't have Coca-Cola branded cola. We only had like supermarket cheaper branded cola. It didn't taste very nice. I can remember it not tasting very nice at all. Yeah, I drank a lot of it. I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke, and as a child, I had real problems sleeping. I suffered with insomnia. Well, I was labelled with suffering with insomnia. I remember getting really upset and really struggling to go to sleep and really struggling to function through school the next day. But it might be because I was consuming a load of Diet Coke that had tons of caffeine in it. The Diet Coke ruled over my childhood and influenced me in a horrible way. Now, the reasons why I wanted to stop drinking this and not carry on the way I was, we'd started eating healthier food and we cut out a lot of ultra processed stuff, but this is the one thing that we were a little bit worried about. Like at the time, it was one of those things that we had, and we thought, it's okay to have a few vices, but the more you read and the more you research about things, and then you learn about what things do to you and the effects that things have on you, you come to realize no one really needs Pepsi Max. No one really needs to drink things that have got colouring, aspartame, acetylame, phosphoric acid, potassium sorbate, contains a source of phenylalanine. Sounds like plastic. It probably does contain plastic. An essential amino acid. I wonder how it gets that in there. Like, one of the things we learned is that the inside of this can, in fact, almost all cans, is lined with a film of plastic. And this is an excellent source of chemicals from that plastic and microplastics, which are causing a lot of harm to humans. And it's one of those things that people are looking at now as being one of the reasons why there's a decline in fertility and all sorts of things. And generally, if you can avoid drinking plastic and allowing plastic to circulate throughout the human body where it doesn't go anywhere, it just stays there and causes all sorts of problems, you want to try and avoid it. And this is lined with plastic on the inside. It prevents the drink from tasting like metal and getting into contact with the can. So if you think you're just drinking out of metal, you're not. It's not like an aluminium bottle. It is lined with plastic. That, combined with everything that we'd read about artificial sweeteners, made us really want to stop. And I can remember the day that we did stop. The following day, I had the shakes all day. I had proper shakes and withdrawals. I was short-tempered. I was helping my mum do something in the garden, and I was proper shaking. My hand was like absolutely like that all over the place. And I was basically like, I don't know, I just stopped taking heroin or something. I genuinely looked like someone from one of the movies that just stops drugs. And that lasted for like 2 or 3 days. I had unbelievable headaches. I don't know what it was, whether it was the sweetness or my body craving the caffeine, but I still drank coffee, so I was still getting caffeine. There's quite a lot of caffeine in one of these, but I was probably having the same amount of caffeine as before, so maybe it's the sweetness. Aspartame. Does aspartame cause withdrawal symptoms? I don't know. I want to be as healthy as possible. I want to live as long as possible. I want to have a good, healthy life as possible. And I don't want to be a slave to some sort of corporation with funny marketing and to have a hold over me, and to cost me another £912 a year. If we'd have carried on drinking Pepsi Max until we're 70, it's the deposit on a house. I'd rather have the house, but at the time I'd rather have the Pepsi. the fact that it's got no calories and sugar doesn't necessarily mean it's not doing something to you. And there's all sorts of studies about these kinds of things. Is that they're so hyper sweet, and they're engineered to trick the human brain. And there are things that would suggest that when you drink something like this, it's making the body expect to receive some sort of food or nutrition. So certain processes or things get activated within the human body. The body expects food but doesn't receive it. So the body sends signals out which make you actually hungrier. And I remember that happening. I can remember having cans of this on its own and then feeling really, 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 really hungry afterwards because the body was expecting some sort of food but didn't get any. So it made you hungry for more food. And people who do have diet drinks, didn't Donald Trump say something about Diet Coke on a tweet that went viral? Like I've never seen a skinny person with a Diet Coke. No, like healthy person that maintains their weight drinks a lot of this stuff. It's it's something that I just knew at the time I had to stop. I'm going to drink this. I'm going to drink it now and see what it feels like. Better make sure. Don't want a Dr. Cox situation going on.
3 taps and the phone goes bye-bye. Works every time.
Smells like disappointment. God. Here we go. First time in 4 years. Honestly, 4 years ago was the last time I had one of these. Oh. Not only is it slightly warm, I put it in the fridge for about an hour, but it's not got cold enough. It's just it's too fizzy. What the hell's going on? It just tastes artificial. It tastes very disappointing. And I know at the time when I used to drink this stuff, I used to just probably mindlessly consume it. I was so used to the taste. It was just the thing that I had. I just drank it without even thinking. It was just there to accompany whatever I was eating. But it tastes awful. It doesn't taste natural. It tastes man-made. It tastes like it should belong in the engine of a car or something. It's really getting foamy in my mouth. I don't know why. I haven't eaten or drunk anything for like 4 hours now, so I don't know why it's doing that. But it's probably my mouth reacting to it being put inside it, saying, "What the fuck is this?" But it tastes like there's a combination of flavors there that shouldn't be. It tastes like it's sweet and peppery. It's so unbelievably fakely sweet. I'm so used to having things like apples now, strawberries and raspberries, and other naturally occurring sweet things that whenever you get anything that's artificially sweet, you can really tell the difference. And that is absolutely awful. Why would anyone pay to put themselves through this shit? It tastes disgusting. I mean, there's probably people watching this thinking like, he just obviously doesn't like Pepsi Max anymore or whatever. But I used to be absolutely addicted to this stuff. I've drunk thousands and thousands of cans of it, and God knows how many bottles. If you pile them up all in a room, you would probably fill a whole house. But we live in a world where this just exists, and it happens to have been created by someone in a combination of flavors, and another company came along and created something similar in another combination of flavors, and they're competing with each other over taste and flavor all the time. And they make slight tweaks to recipes and release different limited edition products with different twists and flavors in it. No one needs it. There was no one needed Pepsi Max in 1876. They probably would have benefited from Pepsi Max in 1876 because it would have meant that they didn't have to drink the dirty cholera-containing water. 100 years from now, will this exist? I've got my doubts. It's just, I think we're hopefully, as a species, going somewhere where we don't... I think there's a lot of changes coming, and this is going off topic a little bit, but I think we're going to live in a world where Pepsi Max doesn't need to be a thing. The human race just needs certain things in order to thrive, And this doesn't help anyone thrive. It's just, it contains caffeine, it's addictive, it tastes disgusting. It's just a combination of clever marketing and a combination of tastes and flavourings in a can that get you hooked. It's normal and everyone's having it. Oh God, I've actually got I've got a headache. I started drinking that about 5 minutes ago and I've got a headache. Why am I still drinking it? I just can't bring myself to throw it away. You know, if you let this go flat and you try drinking it, then it's absolutely disgusting. Flat. There's nothing worse than flat Coke, and it just shows you how disgusting it is and how much the bubbles mask it. Ugh.